Hi, I'm Chelsea.
And I'm Julie.
We're moms and we're super basic. We've got our drinks and we're ready to chat. Cheers.
Cheers.
Today is Friday, February 26th, and we're bringing you the highs and lows of this past week. But first, we must start with what we're drinking.
We're like, what kind of tea are you drinking? I noticed when we cheers that you have a really cute mug, though.
Yeah, okay, so this is actually
Oh, what's it say?
Positivity, Please.
I like it.
It was actually on my gift guide that I did, my
Oh,
Christmas gift guide.
very nice.
Someone got it for me for my birthday.
So are you just drinking plain black tea?
Yeah,
Yeah. And then
basic
how do you
Lipton.
fix it?
I do a little bit of milk and sugar.
Okay. So
So,
I'm very
yeah.
close. I have a little bit, it's plain black tea, and then I have a little bit of milk, like really tiny, like dab, and then maple syrup instead of
Oh, that's
refined
right.
white sugar. Yeah. We always sweeten
Still
with
on that.
either
You're still on that kick.
honey or maple syrup. Honestly, it tastes better than sugar.
Well, I use stevia. I don't use regular sugar in like anything
Oh,
really.
wow.
So,
All right. So let's check in.
so last weekend we went to the Poconos for the weekend to like our family. Yeah, I guess like our immediate family-ish, their house. So we went there for the weekend and a nice long weekend, and it was really nice and relaxing. Until Sunday, I got a call that the boys' daycare was going to be closed for a week and a half, and I was like, oh God. So like that kind of just put like a damper on the end of my weekend because I just started like stressing about that. And I tried to like, enjoy because we took off Monday. So I was trying to like enjoy that 2 day, the a day and a half, 2 days I had left, but I was really just like really annoyed at that.
At least you had off like Monday. So it's
Hmm.
like one less day you had to worry about like
Yeah,
childcare and all that.
yeah, definitely. Um, So yeah, so that happened on Sunday, and then Monday when we were coming home, we got stuck in this like giant storm driving home, and it was really scary. We like spun out on one of the roads
Oh
and hit this
no.
big truck with the boys in the car, so it was like really scary. So it took us close to 4 hours to get home, and it only took us an hour and a half to get there. So
Whoa.
well,
Okay.
the end of the weekend was not that great, but it started off good, and but it was like a nice change of scenery, and um, yeah. But that was last weekend, and then this week, with the boys being home, is also like one of the busiest weeks of my month, and I feel like that's how it's like naturally, when
Of
something
course.
awry, it always happens when you already have a jam-packed week. So I'm just ready for this week to be over. I have like school events I'm doing at night. So it's just like 12-hour days and then coming home and like picking up where Kevin left off with the boys because he's been home all day with them. So yeah. What about you?
All right. So I wanted to talk to you about if you've ever done bar, because last week I had told you that I finally am like back at like doing classes. And so the one that I've been doing on Thursday now, 2 weeks in a row, it's half yoga and then halfway through it switches to bar. And oh my God, my legs.
It's
It
intense, right?
was so funny last week because like I came home Thursday and I was like, I feel fine. Like, what was everyone talking about? And then like periodically through the day, like Friday, it got worse and worse. And then like I woke up Saturday and like couldn't move my legs. I was like, oh, this is what we're talking about. But yeah, today it was almost like a little more scary because I knew what was coming.
Mhm.
Like I feel like that's how it always is. Like the first time you do a workout, you're like, all right, I can do this. And then the next time you're like anticipating what's next and you're like I don't want to do this.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was like my legs were like doing the shake and everything. And so
Nice. Yeah, I used to do bar at like the gym I went to before I stopped going to an actual gym. Um, and I loved it because it's like the little pulsing movements that you're right. Like when you're doing it, you're like, okay. And like sometimes it hurts, like when you get like really long, like and you have a long like hold or like long time in like one movement. But yeah, you can really feel it the next day for sure.
Yeah. And then yesterday we had our first book club meeting, which was totally fun. So I just wanted to shout that out and remind everyone that we'll be doing it once a month. And hopefully we get like more and more people every time and get a little rowdy. But no, it was a good time. We had a good discussion.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I liked the discussion questions, and I'm near the end of book one. So I was listening to it more today during my drives, and I'm like so close to being done. So like the discussion that we had and comparing the show and the book, I was like thinking about that when I was listening to it. I was like, okay, they said this happened in the book and I wasn't there yet. So now I was like listening for it. So yeah, definitely like if you're into the Bridgerton book series and you want to chat it up with some people that are also really into it, join us for the book club.
Yes. And then, okay, this might get a little involved here, but okay. So last Friday was Liam's 7th birthday, my baby. And they've been like begging for pets for a while, but Luke is very allergic to anything with like dander, right?
I
remember. Yeah. I just saw, right. He had like a total outbreak at your house one time. Yeah. Maybe more than once, actually.
Why did we come here?
Yes, poor baby, poor baby. So we decided we'd let them get a goldfish, and we thought it would be fun for like Liam's birthday. I took him to Petco and let him like pick out everything. Well, we have had such a sleep issue with Liam since the day he was born. Actually, that's not necessarily true. Since he hit 3 months. Because Luke and Liam are like 1 year apart, right? And Luke was an amazing sleeper. Like first night home from the hospital, sleeping in his crib, like sleeping through the night from like 4 months on. This is how you end up with 2 kids that are 1 year apart. Is the first one is an excellent sleeper and you think it's you, and you have time at night, and that's how you end up with a second kid that close together. So when we brought Liam home, we didn't want to put them in the same bedroom, but we only had 2 bedrooms at that point. And we didn't want him to wake Luke up because Luke was such a good sleeper. We just didn't want to mess with that. So Liam slept in a bassinet in our bedroom for the first 3 months, slept in it, never in our bed. Perfect angel, perfect sleeper. Well, 3 months came around, he got too big for the bassinet. And it was like, well, what are we gonna do? Well, what did I do? I put him in our freaking bed. And he has not stopped sleeping in our bed for any sort of consistent amount of time since he was 3 months old. Like maybe a night here or there, like one time, like here or there, I fell asleep in his bed with him and got out of his bed and went to my bed type of thing. But no, other than that, he sleeps in our bed every single night. But the goldfish is in his bedroom, and he has gone to sleep in his bed every single night since the goldfish has been in his bedroom. Now,
he feels some sense of like responsibility to be in there with the
I guess so. 2 of the nights he did come into our bed in the middle of the night, and one night he came in, didn't get in the bed, and wanted me to like walk him back to his bedroom so he could be with the fish.
Okay.
But I mean, I'm happy just for him to go to sleep in his bed. At least I get a couple hours without him on top of me.
Yeah.
I mean, this is major in our house.
So when he's sleeping in your bed, he's sleeping on top of you or next to you? Is he like a cuddler, like he just wants to be touching you?
Yeah, he's got to be like on someone, not like, not like totally on, but like touching, rolling. Like he is not He's not a like steady sleeper. I don't, that's probably not the right word. He's all over the place and
Okay.
he's touching. Yeah.
So you think it's the goldfish, but like what does he say about sleeping? Like does he talk about sleeping in his room now?
Yeah, like he wants to, like, even like I said, the one night he came in and he didn't want to get in our bed because I was like, okay, get in. And he's like, no, I gotta go back to my room. Like I think, yeah, I think he feels like responsibility
Mhm.
for the goldfish.
My goodness. Are you gonna get another one?
I mean, I will get him anything if he'll stay in his bedroom.
That's awesome.
Except a dog or a cat. So we actually have like a lot of celebrity stuff this week, but like I feel like none of it's like big. It's like a ton of small things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So Mandy Moore had her baby. She named the baby August Harrison.
Yeah.
And this is the, here's my baby. I'm going to show you that I have a baby, but not actually show you the whole baby picture that I feel like every celebrity does these days.
Yeah. But at least it's more than just like the hand.
That's true. The hand holding the finger, that one's annoying.
Yeah.
This is her first baby, which is so surprising. Like I feel like she's been on the scene for so long.
Yeah.
And then as I was typing this, I was like, August, like someone else just named their baby August. And it took me a minute, and it's is it which one of the sisters is it? It's one of the princesses, Beatrice or
Oh, Beatrice.
Eugenie.
I think she just had a baby.
Beatrice. Okay. Yeah. So she also just named her baby August.
Huh.
And August, Philip, and then it had like a third name too. Um, but I realized that we never actually talked about that because that was the same week that Meghan and Harry announced their pregnancy.
Oh,
And
that's right. Okay.
yeah, like she had the baby, and then like 2 days later, they announced their pregnancy. And I remember seeing all sorts of people posting, like, oh, like Meghan couldn't let Beatrice have like her moment. And I was like, oh, that's ridiculous. But then we totally forgot that she had her baby.
So,
Meghan and Harry announced they were having another.
case in point. Um, I did see Mandy Moore's post about this, and she called him Gus.
Oh, that's cute. I like that. I
Yeah.
don't know though. I think I like Augie better.
Oh, yeah, that's cute. I didn't think about that one.
Yeah. All right. Well, congrats, Mandy Moore and husband. I don't know anything about him. All I know is he's not Ryan Adams. That's her ex-husband.
Right. Oh, I was like, I don't even know what that is.
Yeah, they were married. Okay, relationship news.
Yeah.
So we talked about Kim Ye splitting before, but Friday she actually filed the divorce paperwork. So
Yeah. Mhm.
officially donezaroo.
Yeah, legally official. But they did say that like their date of separation was not on the like whatever documentation they filed. Um, and then they were saying like, oh, well, this can be pretty like it's not something that they have to put like if they have been separated for a long time.
Okay. And I would assume they have been like, when was it? Was it like summer, spring or summer when she went to Wyoming and there were those pictures of her like in the car crying? I bet that's when they separated.
Yeah, it's been a while for sure.
Because I don't think I've
That
seen
was the
any
last time you
pictures
saw
of them
them
since.
together.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, and
Dale and Claire apparently back together.
yeah, unless you're under a rock, Dale and Claire are being spotted all over the
All
place
over.
together.
And like not even just spotted, like they're all over each other's like Instagram stories too.
Yeah.
I mean, they look happy. They definitely look happy.
Yeah, I mean, what happened? I'm
Well, I heard that Dale lost about not 500,000, 50,000 followers when they broke up. So there's speculation that he's trying to grow his followers again.
Oh God. Huh.
I
Well,
don't know. I don't think Claire could handle it if
I
that's what it
I don't
is.
think Claire would be like, oh, okay, I'll get back with you or pretend to be back with you just so you can
Oh
gain my
no, well, I wouldn't think that Claire would know that it's pretend. If it's pretend, I think it's Dale being like, man, I'm gonna get more followers. Claire, what's up? Like,
goodness. Well, I hope not. Well,
I
we'll
know.
see. Who knows? And we didn't add this, but there is a lot of talk about who's going to replace Chris Harrison
Yes.
coming up for future seasons.
Oh, did you think Dale's in the running? That
No,
didn't even
but
cross my mind.
there was talk of like Hannah. Oh, I always mix her up.
Hannah
Hannah was
Brown?
one of the. Is it Hannah Brown that was one of the bachelorettes in the past?
Well, I've heard a lot of people saying JoJo and then people saying Rachel Lindsay.
I think it should be Rachel Lindsay. She'd be
Yeah.
really good at
But
it.
I almost feel like it would be a downgrade for her, right? Isn't she on like E?
Yeah, and she's like an attorney in real
Yeah,
life.
well, and she has a real legit career.
Um,
Yeah.
yeah, I don't know. I don't know who it will be, but I think it would be cool if it was a female
Oh,
instead
yeah,
of
yeah.
a male,
Or even if they switch it out and like have a female during
Yeah, like
like
that would be the best, like having a female host during when it's a bachelor
I
or
know, I
having
was trying to
a
think because in the
male.
one, she'd be there to talk with, like, if it was a female for Bachelorette, they could like talk. But if it's a female during Bachelor, then there's all the other girls.
Yeah. Yeah, you kind of I mean, this is just me thinking out loud. Like, wouldn't you want that different perspective as the bachelor or bachelorette? Like not like
But
you
like,
if
did
you're the
Chris
bachelorette,
Harrison
you're
ever actually do that stuff? Like, I know that when JoJo filled in for him on like when Tasha was there, she did like she talked to Tasha about that stuff. But I don't remember ever really seeing Chris Harrison do that.
he usually does. He usually
Oh,
like,
okay.
goes in during certain times and like talks to them about whatever they're going through. It's usually when, something dramatic happens that's never happened before in bachelor history.
Yeah, yeah.
That's
Which
usually
is
the
every
wording that's
episode, right? They say
yeah.
that.
Exactly. And then like you'll see Chris Harrison going in and he's like, oh man, like he's trying to like put the pieces back together. So
But so do you think Chris Harrison's out for good or just out for like the after the final rose special?
I
What are
don't
you
know.
thinking?
I don't know.
I listen to the Bachelor podcast and they've been saying
Mhm.
like he's just been tired for the past couple seasons. Like
I
they
think
think he should
he's
just
done it
go.
forever. Like I think
Yeah,
it's time for some new blood. It's sad that that had to happen in
right.
order for a change to be made.
Yeah, yeah.
And the last couple alert we have
Yeah.
is
So
Boy
this is
Pete.
Skeet Ulrich, right, and Lucy Hale spotted together. The funniest thing about this to me is that about like 2 to 3 weeks ago, I almost messaged all of you to be like, I think Skeet's got a new girlfriend because he gets really active in his stories whenever he has a girlfriend. And he hadn't like posted anything for like months in his stories. And then all of a sudden, posting in his stories again. And I'm like, he's got a girlfriend.
Now, do you think it's like what's the reason why he posts in his stories? Because you know what I mean? Like you have a new girlfriend, you posting like why would he post in his stories
Okay,
just
so one of two things, like they're just starting to get together, so you like up your so that like she sees him more,
Mhm.
or maybe just in general, like being happier. Like maybe he's just happier and then more likely to post. But you remember when he had that last girlfriend, he posted like all the time.
Yeah, that's true. But
Yeah.
do you think that he feels like he has to post because they're so much younger than him and he has to stay hip with the
Like be
generation that
cool.
he's
Yeah.
dating?
Well, this one is significantly less younger than him than the last. The last one was like 22 and she's 31.
Yeah. I saw something on this that they were in like Scream, one of
4.
the Screams together.
Yeah.
Yeah, Scream 4. She was
Yeah.
probably a child when that came out.
Wait,
Like what,
is
8?
Scream 4 that old? How old is Scream 4?
I don't know. I mean,
How many are they up to now?
let me Google.
Are you looking it
Scream,
up?
yeah. Scream 4, 2011.
Oh,
So that
that
was
is
10
a
years
long
ago.
time ago.
Okay, so she was 21.
Okay. And he would have been 41 10 years ago.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, I like them better together at 31 and 51 than 21 and 41.
Yeah, I guess.
Still kind of a big age gap.
Yeah, definitely. Okay. What else do we have?
Okay, next up was, okay, so royal news. Prince
Mhm.
Philip is in the hospital,
Mhm.
and I don't like, they're not making it out like he's critical, but like he's really old. Like I feel like anytime you're this old and you go into the hospital, it's critical, like it's serious.
Yeah, and it's not like he just went in and was released and like in and out, just for like, oh, let's get him hydrated and get him fluids,
Right.
or you know what I mean? Like he's been in there for a week. They said he has an infection, which is not a good thing if you're that old.
Mm-mm-mm.
But Prince Charles went to go visit him, which was like a whole nother thing. They're like, oh my God, if Charles is going to visit him, then he's bad. But then they're
Right.
saying he's in good spirits, he's fine, and hopefully he'll be out soon.
Right.
So
And that's what I had said to you was they were saying, like, and I actually Googled the locations. They're like, he came from, oh, I forget the name of his palace to visit him in London. And I put in like the name of the palace and the name of the hospital that Prince Philip's at. And it's like a 2.5 hour drive. And I was like, I don't know if my 99-year-old father was even in the hospital to get hydrated. Like he's 99. Like
yeah.
anything could go wrong. Like I think I'd go visit. So I didn't like really think that him visiting meant like this is the end, but also it could be the end because he's 99.
Yeah. Um, well, and then, a little while back when we had the whole Diana thing that we were, reading and listening to podcasts about, he didn't even cancel plans to like be there for when Prince William had surgery when he was a baby. Or was he a baby, or was he like
He was like a toddler. So if you listened to the full episodes of You're Wrong about that, they said that it was like a 6 hour surgery and there was literally nothing he could do but sit in the waiting room. So like they kind of understood why he would go, but also were like, come on, you got to understand how bad it looks to go.
Oh yeah, it's like I understand my son's getting surgery now, but you know what? I have plans to go to the theater and like and dinner and a gala, so I'm just gonna go to that instead. But so I think that was why when like Prince Charles went and they saw that, and like they don't, it's out there that they don't really have the best relationship, that um it was maybe not looking good for Prince Philip.
So now the queen's younger than him, and like I think by a bit, right? Like he was,
Isn't she like 91 or 92?
yeah, yeah.
Wait,
I just thought
94.
that when they met, she was like 16 and he was like a man, right? Like
I think she might actually be 94.
94 and he's 99. So what's that, is 5 year difference?
Yeah, hold on. She's 94. Yeah, she's
94.
94. Hmm.
Okay. So I
94.
was
Okay.
just thinking like, and they've been married like 70 some years, right?
Mhm.
Is
Yeah.
that right? I just like if he goes, I think she goes pretty quickly after. Like they always say that in couples that have been married that long,
Hmm.
that like once one goes, the other goes.
But don't you think the dynamic of their marriage is probably very different than
Right, right. Like it's not
couples
like,
that spend every
yeah.
day together and do everything for each other and like have that companionship, that not to say they don't have companionship, but like I think that's why
Yeah. But
older
I
people.
think as they've gotten older, they seem to have gotten closer. At least that's how the crown made it seem. Like that they
Yeah.
started to like depend on each other more and like be
Yeah.
there for each other. And I'm sure it's happened even more as they've gotten older and older. I don't know.
We'll see.
Okay, so then Meghan and Harry. So the first thing I wanted to mention was because a lot of people didn't even know this was still a thing. They announced that they're officially parting ways with
Mhm.
the royal family, whereas before it was on a like 1 year trial basis.
Mhm.
So they said like, nah, we like it. We're gonna stay over here.
Mhm.
And so that was big news. Then there was a lot of news about the statement they released, because in their statement, they had said something to the effect of like, everyone can perform acts of service. And people saw that as like a slap in the face to the queen. that like
Oh,
last line of their statement. And then there were even articles going around that like William was pissed about that statement.
all
But
that.
all of that stuff is such speculation. But then they announced that they're going to do a sit down interview with Oprah, I think in March, right?
Ooh, I didn't see that yet.
No.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. And then right after they announced that they're doing a sit down with Oprah, the Queen announced that she's doing a like exclusive interview earlier that same day. Not with Oprah. I think it's with like a British like reporter or something, but yeah. And then people are like, well, no, like that's not shade. The different time zones, that's just prime time in, the UK is before prime time in the US, but it's also like the Queen never does public interviews.
Yeah.
And then to pick the exact same day.
And also, like, what are you going to talk about, Queen Elizabeth?
I know. And then part of me is like, does any of this even play out if something bad happens to Prince Philip?
Yeah.
If
Yeah.
Prince Philip passes away, both interviews could get canceled.
Yeah. Huh.
Yeah.
We shall see.
Royal drama. I think that was everything. All right. Any other celeb stuff?
Not that I can think of, but we did have a great post on the blog this week from Claire, just talking about like embracing life in her 30s. And I love this one because I feel like, when you're younger, you're like, I can't wait till I'm older. I can't wait till I'm 20 something. I can't wait till I'm 30 something. I can't wait till this, like keep looking forward, like thinking like, oh, once I hit that age, like then I'm going to have my shit together. And I liked this because Claire is like, okay, my 30s is where like I feel secure in all these areas. And I've kind of like, found my sweet spot.
Mhm.
So she had just like a few things to consider. When looking or reflecting on like what time is best in your life for you.
Yeah, I really liked this one too because I feel like it's so relatable for
Mhm.
moms, especially like when your baby's not a baby anymore. And you're
Mhm.
probably getting close to
Yeah,
this
I think
point.
I'm getting close
You're
there.
not quite there yet, but like once your baby's not a baby anymore and like you get so much time back, and then you're kind of like, well, who am I now? Like, I'm still me, but I'm like mom too. But now
Mhm.
I can kind of like, now that I have some of that time back, I can like go back to a little bit of me.
Mhm.
And so it's just like, it's such a confusing, everything's changing time for moms that once you actually like get out of that baby phase and you can figure out like who you are now because you've changed so much. Not
What
drinking,
did you put in your
tea.
tea?
My tea is plain tea. Yeah, because you've changed so much. And it just, yeah, it was very relatable for me to read through that and be like, yeah, yeah.
So do you think your 30s are your best yet?
Oh, yeah, for sure. I would even say like this past year has been crazy weird. The year before that, I can remember on multiple occasions saying to Mike, like, I wish we could just keep reliving this year. Like
Mhm.
everything was just good. Like the kids were like such a fun age. Not that they're not now, but like now there's like we can't just go do whatever we want whenever we want because of like different restrictions and regulations. So I don't know if the pandemic hadn't happened, maybe every year would have gotten better from that point.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. Yeah,
But
it's hard to kind of like assess with
yeah,
the current situation we're
yeah,
in.
but there was definitely a distinct year that we hit where I was like, all right, this is good.
Mhm.
And I want to say, yeah, it would be about like 2 years ago now. So the kids would have been like 5 and 6. Is that
Mhm.
right? Yeah, five and
Yeah,
six.
I feel like I'm very close to getting back into like you said, like feeling more like you have time to do things that you used to do and enjoy.
Yeah.
You like didn't have the hours in the day or the energy to do it.
Well, that's like, have you seen those memes? I've seen them like a couple different ways where it's like, you know, when your kid can get out of bed and pour his own bowl of cereal, like that's when life really begins.
Yeah.
Like that's true. And you probably have a couple more years for that. But
Yeah. Yeah, unless I'm gonna walk down to a complete and total mess.
right.
But Jackson is figuring out how to work the Alexa remote, or like our I'm sorry, our like Fire Stick remote to like turn on shows. So we're moving in the right direction.
Yeah. But yeah, it's really like overnight, like one night they just don't need you to do so much for them anymore. And then you're like, what is this? I have time. I'm going to drink my coffee and nobody's going to ask me for anything. Like what? All right. Moving on. Okay. Oh, you watched Framing Britney?
Yes. Okay. So when we were at the mountains this weekend, myself and my sister-in-law started watching Framing Britney, and then my husband Kevin and her husband started watching it with us too. And he would have never watched it with me, like just the two of us at home, but he was like really into it. It was like, I agree with what you had said when you watched it. Like there was nothing really new info wise that I didn't already know, but it was crazy to like rewatch these interviews and the questions they asked. And I'm like, why,
Right?
why did they think that that's an okay thing to ask her?
And it's crazy that like it didn't phase us at the time, number one,
Yeah.
which just shows you how much society has changed. Because if I saw that today, I would be like, who gave these questions? But yeah, it's crazy that like it didn't even phase us. Like I remember watching the interview, I think the one with Matt Lauer where she was pregnant with the second baby. I remember watching that like live and being like very invested in what was going on at it. And it's just so crazy that at the time we thought there was nothing wrong with that. We thought she was the problem, right? Like she was the crazy one. And it's like, no.
And I loved the like behind the picture footage of when she was like smashing the umbrella into the photographer's car, because they don't tell the backstory at all. How she was trying to get in touch with Kevin Federline. She was trying to see her kids. He wasn't responding. He was locked down the whole house so she couldn't get in. She couldn't get a hold of him. And these paparazzi were just following her around. Like they were telling, leave her alone, leave her alone.
Like anyone would snap.
Yeah. And like, then they're like, are you okay? Are you okay? And just like wouldn't stop. And it's like, yeah, if I'm like freaking out about my kids and not able to like know anything, and this person's in my face and like not leaving you alone, like, and
I think that's the biggest like piece that I had no context to understand at that time was how old her kids were. Now that like I have kids that are like 1 year apart, and to know that those kids were like 6 months and 1.5 when that was going on. Like I could not imagine if someone was keeping me away from my kids at that age. Like not that, but like at any age it's bad, but like when you're still like in it, when they're still that dependent on you, when your hormones are still out of control from having given birth, like I just like, it's just bonkers.
Yeah, because I think they said it was like a few weeks after she had her second baby that he filed for like the divorce and was trying to get full custody. I cannot imagine being a few weeks postpartum and having that happen.
No, crazy, right?
Yeah.
And the reason
it's like upsetting to think about,
yes,
right?
Like I want to cry thinking about if I was a few weeks postpartum, found out my husband was cheating, which I don't think they've really got into in that. I've heard that in podcasts that's why they filed for divorce, was because he was cheating. You're a few weeks postpartum, you find out your husband's cheating, and then he tries to take your kids from you. And then it's almost like everyone was like gaslighting her, like, no, you're crazy. You're crazy. And it's like, no, I have a newborn they're trying to take from me. Like,
it's it was so upsetting. So definitely worth the watch. Um, and yeah, and so like by the end of it, Kevin's like, free Britney.
Right? I think everyone would be after seeing that.
Yeah, yeah, for
Right.
sure.
Tell me about Firefly Lane because I
Okay,
feel like I just heard about it.
okay, I just started it. Like
Okay.
I'm not even through the first episode, but I wanted to throw it up there to see if you watched it because I
Oh,
didn't know if you
what
did.
channel? Oh, Netflix?
Netflix.
I feel like
And
I just heard someone talking about it. Is it a book?
it is a book. So I think it's a Kristen Hanna book. And she's like, she has tons, like she writes tons of books. So like she's not just like a one book author. But I have heard or I have seen in some like book groups that I'm in that the book and the show are very different.
Oh, okay, okay.
Um,
That's typical.
so I'm not a Katherine Heigl fan, but so far I like the show.
All right, all right.
Yeah. I think it's like there's a lot of flashbacks because the two main, like Katherine Heigl and the other main character, are
It's
like
the
best
chick from
friends.
Scrubs. I just read her
That's
name. I
what
don't
I
know
was
how
trying
you
to
say
think
her
of what
last
she
name.
was in. Yeah.
And she was in
Um,
Roseanne too, like the
yeah.
original. Yeah.
hmm So they're like best friends, but they met when they were like teenagers. So there's a lot of flashbacks to like the 70s times. So I love like the outfits, like of course,
Mhm.
like the makeup and the hair and the outfits and everything that they show. So I'm gonna keep watching. So I'll keep you posted.
Okay, sounds good.
And I'm almost finished reading this book, It Ends With Us by Colleen Hoover. It's the same author as the book I had talked about last time, Verity, but it's very
Oh,
different. Did you start reading it or no?
I didn't because I'm finishing up the Cassie David book, and then
Mhm.
I have to read the Viscount Who Loved Me.
Ooh, mhm.
But I mean, if it's like the Duke and I finished that in 1 week.
Yeah,
So
okay.
then
We'll
I'll
talk
get
in 2 weeks
to
about
Verity.
Verity.
Yeah.
Okay, and what are you watching?
Okay,
Shocker.
so yeah, the only new thing that I like watched or listened to this week was Crime Scene Vanish, The Vanishing at the Cecil Hotel. I let the kids watch it with me. We called it the Haunted Hotel Show. The first 2 episodes were like fine. So this is the Elisa Lam story. I don't know if you know enough about true crime to know what that is.
Um, I think maybe I saw something about the Cecil Hotel. There was like a parody on something of something. Did they do
Maybe.
something on SNL about this?
I don't know. I watched it this week too. Oh, we should have talked about that. I didn't put that up here. Did you watch the Duke hosting SNL?
Yes, yes,
Yeah.
I did.
um, so Elisa Lam was a Canadian. She was traveling California by herself. She was like 21 and she was last seen staying at the Cecil Hotel, went
Mhm.
missing. They tracked down footage of her and they realized that she never left the hotel because they have cameras on like every exit. So they knew that she had last been seen in what's that thing called?
Elevator?
Elevator. And the elevator footage is super weird and creepy. Like if you Google like Elisa Lam elevator, you'll see it. It's like 2 minutes and it's just so bizarre. So people thought it was like haunted. She was possessed. Long story short, like 20 days after she goes missing, people start complaining about the water pressure and
Uh,
then the water starts running like brown. So the maintenance man goes to the roof to check out what's going on in like the water tower thing on top of the hotel and they find her body in it.
in the water tower?
Yeah.
Ugh.
Yeah. So the first 2 episodes that the kids watched with me were almost more like mystery, like what happened to her? Where did she
Yeah, yeah.
go? Here's the history about how the hotel is like haunted. And then the second 2 episodes got a little bit more like into detail about like, and then we found her body and this is what it looks like. So they were fine for like the first 2 and then they were like, nah, not for us anymore because the first 2 was just kind of like mystery-ish.
Yeah, yeah. Huh, interesting.
But it's pretty good, especially if you already know the story.
Is it creepy, like scary? Because I don't like watching things that are going to give me nightmares.
No, it's not like jump scare scary. I mean, it's a documentary. It's not a reenacted show.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, gotcha. Okay.
Oh, and like I think it's the second episode, they go through all the like odd coincidences. So like there's a movie where there's like a woman with her daughter and they're staying in like this rundown apartment building, and the little girl wears like a red hoodie and ends up climbing up the water tower on the roof of the apartment building and falls in, and the mom finds her body in there, and it's like the same red hoodie that like Elisa Lam is wearing in the
Ah,
footage on the elevator. So there's just like all this like weird coincidence stuff. Here's another really weird coincidence. The last place that she went to before she went back to the hotel was a bookstore.
mhm.
And if you, oh gosh, I forget what it was. If you go to the bookstore's website and you like click on it to find the location that actually pulls up is the cemetery that Elisa Lam's buried in Canada. Yeah, so there's just like all these like weird coincidences that don't make sense,
Yeah.
when in actuality it was probably an accident, you know?
Yeah. Huh.
So yeah, if you're looking for something, I feel like it's one of those things that you can watch while you're also texting people. That's important for me. Okay, who's your follow this week?
Okay, so this is actually a teacher Instagram page. It's kind of like poking fun at just everything that teachers encounter. Um, and, with remote learning and the pandemic, it's gotten really good. So, as you can see on the grid here, there's like music classes, and they're in one of those like blow up hamper things. So it's like a guy with his tuba in one of the like hampers, basically. So no, they just like they'll like post like just like ridiculous stuff that teachers get sent to them or anything really. So it's pretty funny, especially if you're an educator. It's really funny. What do you have?
Okay, bear with me here. My follow is Eladia Baldwin. I know that I like went crazy about her back in December, but I started following her back then and I love her stories now. Her kids are adorable. She's pretty
Uh,
funny. Like I mean, I don't really look at her grid, and now that I'm looking at her
yeah, I'm like, what is happening?
like butts out. No, I mean, I just see her pop up when in my stories, and she's usually like somehow poking fun at like Alec Baldwin, and then it's like her kids, but it's like very not curated. It's very just like real, and it's not even like phony real. Like, you know how sometimes you see like the moms that are like, look how real this is. This is real
Yeah.
mom life. It's just like any other, like, what is she, like 36, 37-year-old mom is just like popping shit into her like story.
So is she still speaking with an accent?
So I very rarely listen to stories with the sound on, so I don't 100% know.
I feel like you need to do some, like, you need to listen.
I'll
And like,
find out, but if you're curious about her life, follow along. There's a lot of like kids playing in snow. It's like not that, it's nothing like crazy like refined. It's just
yeah,
very normal.
it's not sponsored, basically.
No, like I mean, I think I follow other accounts where there's way more ad content in their stories and stuff.
Mhm.
And like her little kids are really cute. They're like really cute little kids. Like pictures of them playing together. And then it'll be like one time she had a whole story where like Alec had seaweed stuck to his shoe for like 5 minutes. And it's just she kept just like doing other things and then like flipping the camera to him like walking with like seaweed stuck to his shoe. Like it's just funny.
Yeah. Okay.
All right.
Maybe I'll give her a follow, but I'm gonna listen to see if she's still speaking with an accent or not.
Okay. I will too now that you mentioned it. All right. Wait, did you scribble that out?
No, that's how
Oh,
it's listed. So on the same kind of line as my account that I'm following, another post was, I asked my students today what keeps them motivated. One of them said spite. That just made me laugh so hard.
okay. That's
Yours?
funny. Okay, mine is a picture of Queen Elizabeth, and the caption says, in quotes, "The virus won't last forever." And then it says, "The virus," and it's a picture of Queen Elizabeth because she is lasting forever.
She is. I'm curious to see her interview now.
I know. I really hope it happens.
Same. Well, thanks for joining us for another week of Mom Chats. We hope you had fun. And if you want to get all of our emails in your inbox first thing in the morning, be sure to subscribe through yourbasicmom.com. Bye.
Bye.